Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Bob. I can't decide if that was a good introduction to my section or half of my presentation, but we'll see at the end of this. I purposely called this a revolution because I've been in digital since '99, and through that time we had a revolution in search when Google came about, and then everything went a bit quiet for some years until we started getting into social and YouTube and Facebook and so on. The revolution of media and marketing technology, I think, is one that may or may not be touching everyone right now, but is something that we definitely, I see as a very different thing. This isn't about just a different audience or a different place to find audience. This is about technology that's fundamentally changing all of the channels that we're talking about. Today we're going to talk about digital, but already when it comes to the targeting, the data, the real-time decisioning, all of that stuff, it's already into radio. The outdoor business is talking about how to make personalized ads, and obviously digital is a long way down that road. So this is, for me, really is a truly fundamental shift. And I'm not a B2B expert. This is my second B2B conference, but I think that's, right and proper, because this is not something that sits in a silo. This is affecting all marketing and media pillars and advertising pillars that we work in. And I think it's fair to say that it is quite disruptive, some of what we're going to talk about today. We're really at the heart of what we do in Audience on Demand and VivaKi. We're really talking about audience buying. We're talking about buying individuals, not buying individuals based on necessarily the context that we find them in or the content they're looking at, although I will come back to that. We're talking about buying individuals, and I think in the B2B industry that's something, the content and context has been very closely tied to how you go about targeting people. And why has this made such a lot of noise in the business at the moment? I think the reason is many of these things on the right-hand side. When we're talking to advertisers, this idea that we can actually, and this may sound strange, but for the first time, properly target people based on proper insights. And we can target them one at a time. I'm not going to spend time going through all the details of real-time bidding and all that sort of stuff. Let's just say technology is an opportunity, and a lot of those opportunities are up on the screen here. And I think what that's allowed us to do is go from a very index-driven, assumption-led planning approach based on context as our proxy to something that's a lot more detailed and carrying a lot more insights to allow us to do our buying. And this approach and this technology is giving advertisers a lot more confidence. This is something I've seen. I've been in this audience trading world for the last 3 years, and from the start to now, I'm seeing the confidence of advertisers being willing to decouple slightly content and context from audience. And this confidence in that is really what's creating a bit of a shift for us. Now, to many people, this is what technology looks like, and they fear that this is going to be a negative trend in some cases for publishers in particular. And there's some relevance here. I think it is powerful, the technology we're talking about, and it's evolving all the time, but it is incomplete. And there is so much opportunity for everyone to get involved, and I'm talking about publishers and advertisers alike. And now is the time to do it, because there is opportunity to still be market leaders, regardless of what field that you may be in. But whether or not that is a perception or a reality, there are a number of trends that will be touching every one of us. Some of them, not all of them to everyone, but everyone will be touched by a few of these. I'm not going to go through all of them, but this idea of technology being the backbone of media and marketing is really important. And in conversations I'm having with advertisers more and more, if anything, they're sort of challenging us now to challenge them more. So I had a conversation with a big advertiser the other day, global advertiser, that was effectively saying to me, you guys are changing your business, you're restructuring everything, you're creating all these different things, and yet you just want us to keep buying media, maybe through a slightly different approach, but you're not telling us how to change our business. And just the very fact that advertisers are pushing us to challenge them more in this new programmatic and technology-driven space is a sign that the message that we're pushing is definitely getting through. The data side of things, Bob touched on it. The data is a hugely valuable asset. I think everyone has woken up to that from a publisher perspective, to greater and lesser degrees, and we sort of talk about that more later. But from an advertiser perspective, I still would challenge most advertisers that they are not treating their data and the visitors to their sites and the people they're really advertising to, they're not treating it with the respect and value that it deserves. If you're an advertiser that still has 5, 10 different media properties with tags on your site, all tracking your data, all using your data, then you are really undervaluing that data, because there's so much more you should be doing with it and not sharing it about for everyone to use as they please. And I think we'll come on to how we combine that data, but that data, whether it's the publisher first party or the advertiser first party data, is immensely important. And in B2B in particularly, where you do have very niche segments and hard to find segments. So that ownership is important. That's not to say we're not working with lots of people. If I just look in some of the inventory that's available for us to buy and to target against, there's plenty of companies, and this is just a selection, plenty of companies that we can work with. And it's a great sign that so many companies are getting involved in that and working with us. I think my point within this segment is we're probably not doing enough in terms of the development of the inventory and the data together. I think we're still being slightly basic in our approach. And because of that, what you get on the left, drop-down boxes and tick boxes, that's planning and buying in a trading desk. It is through platforms, it is ticking boxes, and it is obviously overlaid with some human insight, but there's a lot of that going on. And I think that's what everyone fears, even within the B2B space. But it is where advertisers are talking to us about. They want to get into these deep audiences. In my view, where we have the opportunity to go as an industry and a sector is the combination of that sort of planning, but with the content as well. And the only way you get these two things, and we know because we create many private marketplaces with audience on demand and within VivaKi, the only way we get these relationships is by bringing those parties together to discuss them and work out bespoke strategies, data strategies using first-party data of both publishers and advertisers to answer the briefs. And if you overlay proper creative and dynamic creative that is personalised and tailored, that is our sweet spot. This isn't about completely disconnecting everything. There's a number of advertisers that are now starting to work with us more and more, and it's a whole range of different things. So within there's hardware, software, finance, retail that we're talking to companies about, all within the B2B targeting space. So it's definitely gaining momentum. The boiled frog analogy, I'm not sure how many people will know. But anyway, basically, if you want to boil a frog, you need to put it in a pan of water and you need to turn the temperature up really, really, really slowly. And then it happens so imperceptibly that eventually the frog's dead. And so the reason I use this analogy, hopefully no one's going to do this, but the reason I use this analogy is that, you know, with the temperature of the water is definitely going up. And for some people, you'll start feeling the temperature, others you won't. But it is rising all the time. And so these three areas, for the advertisers, for the publishers, and for the industry as a whole, we need to start acting now and getting ahead of some of these trends rather than wait for it to come and boil us to death. I hope that one's not on video. It might be. But you know, in all seriousness, the advertisers should be, if you're an advertiser, you should be challenging your agency. If you're a publisher, don't just, as Bob rightly says, don't just give your data away willy-nilly. Work out a proper strategy about how to combine it with the advertiser first-party data. And as an industry, I think working together rather than everyone trying to create silos and protect each other's boundaries will move the whole industry on. Thank you.